We're back here in the kitchen making some homemade salsa. We have a couple jalapeno peppers that we're going to go ahead and cut. And make sure you don't touch your eyes after you touch the jalapeno peppers because it's very unpleasant. So we're going to take the seeds out and a little bit of the white skin on the inside of the pepper. And we're going to make a homemade salsa. We've got a bunch of ingredients, some wet stuff, some spices. We're going to make this a delicious salsa, way better than the stuff you buy at the store. We're going to get 2 jalapenos, and we're going to cut them about a third of the way up, and just cut them over. Shouldn't be any seeds on it at all. Let me run my knife back in here, and along the bottom, around this little core, around the seeds, and come back the other way like that, and then come over here. We're going to knock those guys out. So we got most of that. That's seeded. We're going to cut that in little pieces. And we have a poblano pepper. It's a little bit more. It's much more mild than the jalapenos. We're going to use that in part of our salsa. So we're going to do the same thing there. Cut it about a third of the way up on the pepper. Come back through. Find a little inside skin. Come through and roll it right like that. And pull out the core with all the seeds and some of the white flesh, which is going to be the bitter part. See, that's easy. Then we're going to go ahead and we're going to cut these in little julienne strips. We're going to put this in the blender with a various amount of other ingredients. So they'll get good and blended here. But we're going to do some of the work for the blender. So we got some poblano peppers and some jalapeno peppers. Make sure after you touch the jalapeno peppers that you wash your hands off good and don't touch your eye or maybe even your mouth. It might burn a little. They're not really hot like habaneros, but they're definitely have a little sting to them. You'll know if you don't wash your hands when you touch your eye. Maybe only do that once. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and stripe or julienne these jalapeno peppers also. And I'm going to wash my hands. I'm going to get right back to you in about 2 or 3 minutes. We're going to add all these ingredients together, and then we're going to blend them up. We're going to have a delicious salsa. We'll be back in a minute. So this is an extensive list of ingredients. It'd probably be impossible for you to get it in one take. But we have some tomatoes, some bell peppers, some onions, some poblano peppers, some tomato juice, cilantro, oil, red wine vinegar, some taco seasoning, cumin, hot sauce, white pepper, Creole spice, granulated garlic. We also have some lemon juice, a little bit of salt, and we got some fresh garlic over here that we're going to press into it when we get closer to the end. But the first thing we're going to do is we're going to combine all these ingredients in this pitcher. I know it doesn't look, it's going to be a lot easier for us to mix all these ingredients together, and then we're going to pour them into the blender. We're going to blend them together probably in 2 different sessions, not to try to overcrowd the blender, and we'll pull them into this bowl and mix them together and let them sit for about an hour. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to start combining these ingredients, and we got like about 30 or 32 ounces of tomato juice. And then we're going to just mix all these ingredients in together. And if I had a bigger blender, I guess I could pull this off. But unfortunately, most people have the same standard size, kitchen blender. So we have a few things here that we're going to put together: the tomatoes, the onions, the bell peppers. We got some fresh cilantro. It's one of the keys to the dish. And then we have a lot of this other ingredients: the red wine vinegar, 4 tablespoons, I believe. Some garlic vinegar, another couple tablespoons. And then we have a lot of these spices that we're going to go ahead. We're going to mix this all together in this pitcher. It's a big production. Way like 17 ingredients. I don't know, way too many. Then we got this lemon over here. We're going to give it a good, oh yeah, that's a good bit of lemon. If the lemon doesn't have enough, a good bit of juice, you could use lemon, fresh squeezed lemon I would prefer. You think that's the best thing to use? Alrighty. Then we're going to use a little bit of salt. Maybe about, a tablespoon, maybe 20 turns on my shaker. That's what 20 turns gives me, about a tablespoon of salt, and then a little bit of this fresh garlic. And this fresh garlic, we're just going to press it through a garlic press. You could chop it up, you can mince it. We could even mash it with the granite. But this, we're going to, I guess, this is one of the original recipes I made a long time ago when I was, I guess, a younger kid, about 20 years ago. And I think the garlic, the fresh mashed garlic, for the garlic press is how I identify, my appreciation for garlic. So we're going to use the press today instead of making all that noise with the granite. We're going to press about 5 toes through here. We got it in this pitcher over here, and throw the rest of that in. That's going to be delicious there. The fresh garlic's going to really, it's going to add a lot of character to this salsa. So now I have it in this big plastic pitcher. I didn't really have a glass one, but we're going to go with the plastic pitcher. We're going to mix all these ingredients together. You could use it like this and leave it chunky, do it really thick or very chunky consistency. But we're going to go ahead and blend this. So now we're going to make a little bit of, make some salsa here. Try not to make too big of a mess. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pour about half this in, and run it for about a minute, pulse it a few times, making sure we mix it really well, and then do it again another time. All right, it's about half. Probably could have crammed the whole thing in there, but why are we going to try and make a huge mess? We'll pulse it a few times, and maybe this time we're going to do a half blended, half chunky style. It's up to you, it really doesn't matter. All right, now we got that. And we'll salt and pepper to taste. All right, so there's we're going to go with half blended and a half chunky. It's going to be a recipe that I've had around for about, oh, I don't know, 20 years. And this is just a homemade salsa. You can put cucumbers in here, other peppers, jalapenos. You can put habaneros. We actually have jalapenos in here. Habaneros, serranos, other chilies in here if you want. You can omit some of the cilantro, some of the cumin, or some of the garlic if you don't prefer it. But that's going to be a great salsa. We're going to let that sit in the refrigerator for about a half an hour, and then we'll go ahead and taste it, and we'll salt and pepper to taste to whatever you prefer.